is about you, man. It's about you showing the world what Big E can do. Don't let them deny you for a decade before you take your due. More importantly, you've earned this.
What's going on, YouTube? It's the place to be, Children, Mr. A&E, back to give you guys a SmackDown review. Friday Night SmackDown for July 24th, 2020. Wait a minute. Am I actually doing a video? It's been a long time since I did a video because I was like, hey, they in quarantine. If they got empty seats, I'm going to have empty seats. To be fair, it got easier, got a little lazy, let's just be honest. And now they start putting NXT guys in the seats and fan members. I'm like, okay, it's time to start going back to give a live review, especially since the channel died and we had to reboot this other channel. We gotta start off strong, right? So we're here for a SmackDown live review. Excuse me, Friday Night SmackDown. It has been a while. So we start off SmackDown kind of opening similar to how it opened last week with the whole Saturday night's main event type of thing stick going on, and explain that the bar fight's going to happen tonight and things of that nature. So I appreciate that. So that was pretty cool. So we start off with Bayley and Sasha Banks coming out and gloating that, you know, they are the women's division, and it starts with them, it ends with them. And of course that, you know, she's gonna, this match on Monday with Asuka, she's gonna retain the title. But Nikki Cross comes out very angry and says, you did not win that title, Sasha Banks, and that's Asuka's title, you stole it, and I want another shot at Bayley. And Alexa Bliss comes out, and Alexa Bliss is just like, yo, Nikki, are you okay? Because you're very amped up and everything. And Bayley said, look, if you want to have your match with me, that's fine. However, you're going to have to be the former SmackDown Women's Champion, future Hall of Famer, blah, blah. And that person, and she was looking at Sasha, and she was like, your best friend, Alexa Bliss. And whoever wins is facing me next week for the SmackDown Women's Championship. So Nikki Cross is looking at Alexa like, we have to do this. We have to do this. And she pushes her down. So now we got our impromptu match, Alexa Bliss versus Nikki Cross. So now we get the matchup. The matchup is pretty good. It's been a while since I've seen Alexa Bliss in the ring. Like I said, she does a lot from not taking no bumps. But she has a nice code red on Nikki Cross, goes for a near fall. She works on Nikki Cross's ribs. Nikki Cross is selling the ribs. There's one time Alexa Bliss tries to do a baseball slide. Nikki Cross catches her in the whole ring skirt, but Alexa Bliss knows her so well. Kicks Nikki Cross on the side. Nikki Cross is selling the ribs after missing a crossbody. Alexa Bliss goes over to her. She hits her with a roll up. 1, 2, 3. Nikki Cross is going to see Bayley next week for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Meanwhile, backstage, we get Alexa Bliss giving Nikki Cross some water, saying, hey, you know, we got to focus on now you becoming the new SmackDown Women's Champion. So they're best friends again. Why? Matt Riddle comes out very angry, especially how Baron Corbin attacked him after his Intercontinental Championship match with AJ Styles last week. Well, now he's going up against Tony Nese. Well, Tony Nese ain't got a pot to piss in or what to throw it out of in this matchup, because Matt Riddle is just beating him up throughout the whole match. It's a glorified squash match. Matt Riddle picks up the win over Tony Nese. King Corbin comes out. Actually, Matt Riddle calls out King Corbin, and he comes out and he says, well, you know what? We just don't like you. You need to go back to NXT, and you know, saying you're barefooted, all the crap that Vince McMahon probably really thinks of Matt Riddle. But then he said, I'm gonna put out a king's ransom, kind of on Matt Riddle to basically somebody do get his work done, for his dirty work. And Nese comes back up in there and gets
Tony Nese was trying to attack Riddle,
clocked again by Matt Riddle. So we know pretty soon there's going to be a Corbin Matt Riddle matchup. It's probably going to be SummerSlam. Oh. Backstage, Nakamura and Cesaro are celebrating their tag team championship victories over the New Day, and Kofi Kingston comes out the trainer's office talking about something that, look, man, it's hard. However, I just got news that, you know, I won't be gone for about 6 to 8 weeks. I'm like, damn, 6 to 8 weeks? That's about 2 months. So he says, look, I'm gonna be honest with you. Woods is gone. I gotta go on the show, probably because he don't want to deal with the Rona. And now it's time for Big E to go out and do a solo run. And he's like, look, man, I appreciate that. He said, no, E, stop that. You've been selfless up to this point. You've been with me and helped me win back at WrestleMania 35. But now, there is no New Day right now. You need to go on, keep the mantle, and go have a solo run. Because Big E needs a solo run too. This is the best way to do it without them breaking up. Because the New Day don't need to break up. It doesn't make sense for them to break up right now. But you can have them have solo runs. Kofi had his solo run last year. Big E, you could build him up and actually have him have a solo run. Is he going to win a championship? Obviously not. They got plans for the championships going. Well, actually, they don't have a plan for Universal Championship. Braun Strowman's kind of like coasting. So I don't know. You can kind of have Big E there, but I need Big E with the powder and the That's why Big E, show him how I want it.
And what an opportunity for this young man. Big E Langston. Remember, guys,
AJ Styles comes out on commentary because there's going to be a fatal 4-way match to determine who's going to get a shot at the Intercontinental Championship next week. So who are the great studs of SmackDown that we have for the Intercontinental Championship? Grand Metalik, Lince Dorado, Drew Gulak, and Shorty G. Gable. There's something wrong with these guys, but when they're not been seen on TV in months, and then you're supposed to, and they just put them back on TV, I'm supposed to take them seriously to go contend with AJ Styles for the Intercontinental Championship. Kind of hard to do. But you know what? It was an exciting fatal 4-way match in a short amount of time. I won't say it's exciting as the fatal 4-way match that happened at SummerSlam 2003, but I'm just saying in a short amount of time. But I think this was a pretty good fatal 4-way matchup that happened. Lince Dorado looks pretty good here. Grand Metalik looks pretty good. And then at first they were teaming up, and then obviously things had turned. I was really pulling for Gable to win this match. Gable versus AJ Styles match would be phenomenal. No pun intended. But Gable has an ankle lock and he's sitting on it, and then Lince Dorado splashes down on him, but then he gets taken out, and then Grand Metalik hits a diving elbow on Chad Gable, and that's the end of the matchup. So Grand Metalik is actually getting a shot at the Intercontinental Championship. Will he win? No, but Grand Metalik and AJ Styles will be a damn good matchup as well. So we're seeing them try to build up a little bit more star power, stuff like that, to get him in there. So we've been building up to this whole thing. Oh, but before we get into that, I skipped a segment. Miz TV with Naomi. So Miz and Morrison out there, they bring out Naomi for Miz TV, and the Miz and Morrison are having extremely fun dancing to Naomi's Glow song.
Are y'all done?
So after all that's said and done, Naomi comes out and they talk about, so you have been trending after that loss last week of Naomi deserves better. And she says, I appreciate that from all my fans out there. And then he was also trending when you had the loudest pop at the Royal Rumble earlier this year, back when we had crowds. You didn't win that match either. So how do you feel so that a loser like yourself should be getting all these trending opportunities? You're trending. And she says, you know what? You're starting to get on my nerves right now. You should be asking the questions about how come, everybody wants to attack on me, or I don't get chances when I got the whole fan support behind my back and stuff like that. He was like, whoa, you need to calm down. And then Morris was like, Naomi, I'm sorry. Because it's about to get worse, because we're bringing out Lacey Evans. And Lacey Evans, who just flip-flop of being a heel like the Big Show does, comes out and she just was like, hey, all that trash, and they call Lacey Evans, and then she called Naomi. Naomi ain't having it. She hits Lacey Evans, bounces in the rope. I guess her mouth is bleeding, or I guess it's like lipstick. I'm not sure what it is, but I'm just like, ow, that hurt. So we're going to get that match between Naomi and Lacey Evans next week. Bar fight time in the main event of SmackDown. So Sheamus comes up there looking like, something from the 1920s, as he got his little suspenders, little Irish stuff on, and his white beater on. Jeff comes there and he sits down and he says, hold on, ref, before you ask us, you just here to count to 1, 2, 3. I'm going to talk to Sheamus about anything. He says, I've been here before. Let me understand something. That I am the bar. I am this table. I'm all that stuff. And he says, you're not the bar. You're just a junkie. And he says, well, are you still the bar? He says, that's right, I do still set the bar. And he throws a drink right to the face, and then the bar fight gets on to it. So it's generic, so they beat each other down. Sheamus runs Jeff Hardy across the table like the old classic Western bar scenes you see there. He beats Jeff Hardy down a little more. Jeff Hardy runs across the bar and attacks Sheamus. They go to the back, into the bathroom area. They beat each other down. Sheamus throws Jeff Hardy's head into the urinal. Disgusting. And then Jeff Hardy fights back and knocks Sheamus into a stall. Jeff Hardy has a ladder. Well, actually, Sheamus looking for Jeff. He's like, Jeff! Kicks open the door to Hardy! It kind of remember that movie Double Jack was like, you don't know Jack City.
you don't know Jack City.
That's what they remind me of. That's an old reference that probably none of y'all gonna understand. But anyway, he goes to he wants to pour himself a drink. The top shelf stuff, fella. But then Jeff Hardy comes out, hits him with a ladder, and it's just a ladder up. You know we're going to get ourselves a ladder spot somewhere, somehow. And then, but Jeff Hardy, he gets beaten down. I think he gets hit with a broken guy. I missed this one scene, and Sheamus lays his head on top of Jeff Hardy's face. And then, as he does that, Jeff Hardy, he better go for the pin. The head comes up, and Jeff Hardy's in the Brother Nero pain. And he starts looking up and looks at the eyes and everything. Starts beating up Sheamus, knocks him down, sets up the ladder. And I'm like, okay, we know damn well Jeff Hardy not about to swanton Sheamus on this concrete. He gives Sheamus a swanton. You can clearly hear the mat as they both laying down on the ground. And then he pins Sheamus 1, 2, 3. And then Jeff Hardy beats Sheamus. He faces his demons and then closes his eyes and goes back to normal. So like that. It was an interesting bar fight. I think out of the matches at Extreme Rules that missed, I think, because this could have been on the Extreme Rules show. The unsanctioned match between Randy Orton and Big Show on Raw was dead. I didn't care about that match too much, but definitely Jeff Hardy beating Sheamus. But I thought the bar fight was pretty cool. So that was SmackDown this week. No, not too small. SmackDown with it capitalized on Naomi stuff. I like the bar fight. I like Big E about to get a solo push. How good they're gonna do it, I'm not sure.